fam. This is your girl, Alicia Gaucher Page, and welcome to the REAL Autism Podcast, where we share relevant, effective, actionable living strategies and solutions. And I want to introduce you to my guest, Mr. Kwame Owusu.
Thank you for having me.
You are welcome. Welcome to the show. So, Kwame, who's Kwame?
Me, I am I am one of the best. I am one of the best guys out there who is living on the autism spectrum and ADHD. I am so proud to be on the podcast for the very first time in my life.
Awesome. I like the way you representing, Kwame. I like that. So, talk to us about your life on the spectrum. When were you diagnosed, and what has it been like for you?
I was diagnosed at age 7. Before that, I don't know what I am diagnosed with this. I didn't know about any autism until I was in middle school, learning about disabilities, autism specialists, and me being autism, and I have ADHD. So me on being ADHD and autism, I didn't know what fields or goals or college what that I'm gonna be turned down with, or it can jeopardize my entire life. But now I have gone through it. Now I have a job. Now I have graduated college.
Congratulations to you for doing that, because a lot of people feel like once you receive the diagnosis of autism, you can't achieve those things. So once you got that diagnosis at 7 years old, did your experience going through school change? Were you in different classes? Did you go to therapy? What type of things did you do?
I've gone to classes. I've gone to any other classes. I was in a special ed class. I've gone to art class. I've gone to PE class. I've gone to sports events. I've gone off campus. Let's see. Um, let's see. I've gone to music classes. I've gone to drama classes. I've gone to every other class. You know what I'm saying?
So you had the exposure to those
Yes.
different things, and who do you attribute that to? Getting all the exposure to art, music,
Please.
different therapies. Like, who helped you with that?
Um, I don't know. I don't know.
Your parents?
Oh, my parents.
Yeah, your parents.
Yeah.
How instrumental have your parents been to you in this journey?
Well, my parents encouraged me to do all those things, such as sports and all those things. They want me to do sports, to gain, education, to gain to gain experience, because my dad, who's not here, who was a college football coach, at his college, Hushford University in Uniondale, New York,
Okay.
in college years ago.
Okay. Cool. So once you went through elementary school, you went to high school.
Yeah,
You said you went to college.
Yeah, I went to college. I went to elementary school.
So how was your experience at college? What college did you go to? And talk to me about how your experience was in college.
Well, college is very fun for me. I love college and universities in the higher education settings. It's much like freedom, and it's 18 and up. You can do anything you want. You don't need to be with your parents no more. Well, let me be more specific. You don't parents that need to be with you. But sometimes we've gone through financial struggles and budgeting
Right.
and we all have to cook, and we gotta cook, and we go outside a lot. I walk around campus, taking the buses, taking Ubers, and going to campus, off campus events. College is very fun for me. I really enjoy college. I really want to go to college when I was in elementary school. I've wanted to go. That's something I wanted to do. My sister is a college advisor, so she's helping her students get into college, financially helping choose what the best college universities or private universities, either public or something else.
So what would you say to individuals on the spectrum that feel like they can't do those type of things, like go to college? Like, what type of words of encouragement would you give to them?
So for those who are an autism specialist, here's the thing. Try out new opportunities, like go into a job, go into career force, go even in the military or something like that, or just stay home with your parents or just get a job. I mean, being an autism specialist, you may or may not go to college, depending on you. Just don't be afraid to go to college. It's gonna be You're gonna have a lot of fun for it. And I mean, friends sometimes for about 5 or 10 years after you graduate from high school. I mean, life is gonna change you. Into everything's gonna turn into um what is promised, what the will is like from now on. Like, for instance, you are getting married, you're gonna have children, you're gonna start working at an office, you're gonna have be an entrepreneur, work as an actor, musicians, um, be on the news all the time, anything. You might work for the U.S. government.
So essentially, what you're saying, Kwame, is you can really do what you put your mind to, regardless of what. And you're saying autism specialist.
Autism spectrum.
Spectrum. All right.
Autism
We're talking about the autism spectrum. So you have given our audience, their families, you've encouraged them to continue to be exposed to new things. Set your sights high. If you want to go to college, you can go to college. I love that. I love your energy. And that's what we need. That's what we need to hear. So I know right now we talked a little bit before the podcast, and you said you're working, you're saving money to get your own apartment or get your own car. You love to travel. How important is it to you to live on your own and not stay with your parents?
I think that's gonna be a great idea. It's a great idea. That's what being a stage as an adult can do. But the rent and the finances, it's monthly, and you're not gonna don't have that decent amount of money, then you can't afford, and you have to live back with your parents until you get a lot of money for that. A lot of money, buying a big house, that's a mortgage, and like mortgage, it's a lot of money. You gotta have more years, like 15 years or 20 years.
So essentially, you're saying, you're giving a finance lesson right now. You're saying that people need to save their money to be able to live out there on their own, which is very true. But what I want you to hint on or get to is, if someone is on the autism spectrum, a lot of times they have fears, not even them, sometimes it's their parents, have fears with them living on their own and being independent. Why do you think it's important for someone on the spectrum to live on their own and be independent?
That's a good question. I would say, at least be with their friends if you're gonna live with them, if you're gonna be comfortable with them, because a lot of them are not gonna be nice to you. They'll just give up to you and not be friends with you. Like, you're not gonna like this. You're complaining. This boy ain't doing nothing. He ain't clean up. He can clean up. He ain't helping out. He don't play nothing. He don't do nothing.
So you're saying that the friends of folks that are on the autism spectrum, make sure you choose good friends.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So they won't abandon you.
Yeah. Choose good friends that are that are nice to you, and don't choose them that are not very nice to you, either dangerous or even mean to you. Like,
Choose great friends. So, do you think it's better when you're talking about living on your own? You're essentially saying get you a couple of friends that could be roommates. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
yes.
Okay, okay. That's awesome. So, one of the initiatives that JCO Advocacy, my nonprofit, is working on is creating residential spaces for those that have special needs or need some support to be able to live on their own, because within the state of Georgia, it's probably only 7,000 residents like that. And you and I both know there is a large community of us, of people that are on the spectrum that need that type of support. How do you feel about J. Cole starting an initiative like that? Do you think that's something that's needed?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I think it's a best idea. Creating a new apartment. Yep.
So creating an apartment that provides support.
Yes. I will definitely go to that, and you may give us a tour and see if I can live over there. I just want to get
Okay.
a tour. I want a tour of everything in the apartment. So I just don't. I can't go in there and live everything or anything I don't know.
So you want to check out the space to make sure
Yes.
it's the way Kwame wants it.
Yes.
Okay. I think I can do that. You might end up being one of my first clients. How you feel about that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So tell me about you getting a job. Like, what was the type of preparation that you did in order to make sure you, one, could get a job and that you could do the job once you got it?
Well, in college, I was doing internships. I worked at Georgia Tech's post office. I worked at the campus recreation center. I worked at the sorority house. I did virtual internships, and then lastly, I did the Georgia Tech housing warehouse off-campus internships.
Okay, so that's how, is that what prepared you for your job now at the airport?
Yes. Overall, I've done vocational trainings in high school that helps me prepare me for a job.
Okay, so the vocational training in high school was very helpful to you.
Yes.
What would you say the biggest challenge has been for you being on the autism spectrum? And it could be something that was a problem for you, but then you outgrew it. What would you say that challenge was?
Getting a job is tough, especially on the economic side. When you're choosing a job, find the one that is best suited for you. Don't don't let nobody tell what you can't do or what benefits that you don't need or you need, or don't let anybody that tearing you out. Don't let anybody say you can't do it. Just do your best. Just get the job that works for you.
That's good advice, Kwame.
Yeah.
Get the job that works for you.
Have more experience working with internships or something like that. Get more experience. You're going to need it.
That's awesome. So what has it been like for you making friends? Because a lot of times, if we're speaking transparently, a lot of times for individuals on the spectrum, it is hard to make friends. Sometimes the official definition is sometimes individuals have problems communicating and can be a little socially awkward. So how has that played into you making friends, and what does that look like?
Well, it can be difficult. That's a difficult question. I would say once I met new friends, that's a difficult question. That's if once I've met new friends and gained new friends, sometimes they haven't been out. They haven't been getting in contact with me. They haven't. They they're having a hard time to get to know me until later on these days.
Mm.
You know, especially when I was growing up in Georgia. Like, for instance, middle school, high school, and I just graduated college, you know, and went to events that I made friends with.
So what was difficult about making friends? You mentioned that sometimes it was hard for them to get to know you.
Yes, not everybody can be their friend, you know.
But that goes across the board, right?
Yes.
Everybody can't be my friend either.
No, I don't have to be friends with anybody. I don't have to do that.
So you said you don't have to be friends with anybody.
No, not that I don't know.
Right. Friends are people that look out for you. I mean,
Or I just know them briefly and never got a chance to make friends.
Right. Okay. Well, that's fair. That is fair. So what, in closing, if you had to give families advice or just people in the community in general, because the whole purpose of this podcast is to create an understanding and acceptance for autism, what would you say to people listening to this podcast, what they need to know about autism or people with autism?
Okay, for those who don't know about autism is a neutral device disorder that is found in humans. You know, it's a non-verbal. Well, we have autism. People with autism who are non-verbal and verbal, and speech delays. You know, they have issues. They have poor eye contact. You know, it's sensitive. You know, sensitive to the loud noise, sensitive to the lights. Like,
so that is what autism is. So how would you say people should interact with people with autism?
well, to be more specific, I would say, I'm just right. What they ask them, what they need. Say how you doing. What's your autism? And I said autism. You autism? Oh wow. I didn't know what autism. What is autism? I mean, it's a mental disorder, development disabilities, and okay. What can I do for you? You need anything? Like, how can I tell if you're autism? Like, some people know the traits of autism.
But some people don't.
No, not a lot of people know anything about autism.
Right. So essentially what you're saying is if somebody meets somebody that has autism, feel okay talking about it and saying, hey, I've never met anybody with autism. You know, how has it affected you? And I mean, that will work for people who are verbal because you're verbal. But like in the case of my kids who are nonverbal, how could somebody support them if they're unable to communicate what their needs are?
Well, for nonverbal, I would say have your kids write down or type in a pad or write down something, and they're going to communicate to each one of individuals who are verbal, and I'll explain it and I'll type it back to them and I'm explain it to them, because being autism it's no joke. It's not a temporary disorder or disease. It's permanent for the rest of your life.
Right. But you have proven that even if it is a condition that you have for the rest of your life, that you can still thrive and be successful. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, Kwame, I appreciate you being on my show. Boom. You are awesome. And I want to thank you all for joining me for the Real Autism Podcast, where we share relevant, effective, actionable living strategies and solutions. We'll see you next time.